Hi folks, Mr. Long here, just doing a quick screencast, another tutorial on the TI36X calculator, the new calculators that we've got at Bayside here. What we want to do is take a look at this problem here. So this is a typical problem you might encounter in grade 9 or 10. How would we solve this with the calculator, with the support of the calculator? Well, there's a few things that we would do first, I think. We would probably write down the formulas. Pi r squared h will be the volume of the cylinder, and then the cube, well, it's length times width times height, but in our case it's just going to be L cubed. So I guess, one of the things we'd probably want to do is substitute our known values in. So we know we've got pi here. The radius is unknown, so I'll leave that as r squared, and the height is given as 12. The reason I'm setting these equal is because they're stated in the question as having the same volume. So how would you solve this with the calculator? Well, let's take a look. There's some really nice features in the calculator. What you want to do when you get started is to clear the screen, and we've got a mode, set our mode, and take a look. How many decimal places do we want to save it to? And that comes under the mode here where you have float, and you can go over. Right now we've got it set to 2 decimal places. I think I'm going to move it to 3 decimal places. And everything else is good. So I do second and quit to clear that screen and go to what's called the home screen. So I'm going to use what's called the solver, the numeric solver for this. So I go down here, and it's under the sign button. So two buttons up from the 7. So I hit the second function and then this sign, and it goes into what's called a numeric solver. And so what we do is I'll hit clear on this side, and I'll go to this side of the equation and I'll hit clear. So with this we can actually solve equations. And so I'm just going to put on the left side of the equation, I'm going to put pi. Oh, by the way, and if you press it twice, there's a reason this is called a multi-touch calculator. So some of the buttons you just press repeatedly and you get different values. So pi, we know is for circles. E is a special number, Euler's number, that we'll learn about in grade 12. And then I is an imaginary number, which we'll also learn a little bit about in grade 12. Anyway, so we've got pi, and then radius squared. If you look at the formula over here, that's our unknown. And in math, when we have unknowns, I've got radius squared here. I like the variable x, and the x is located just beside the 4. So I'm going to go up and hit x, and then there's a square button just beside 7. So pi x squared, and then in brackets I've got the height, which is 12. And then on the other side of my equation, I just arrowed over here with the cursor, and it's going to be 6 times 6 times 6, or another way to write that is 6 to the exponent of 3. So I put in 6, and then there's a button right above the square, right here, folks, and it says x with a little box on it, and all I have to do is press that, and I get an exponent, 3. And the reason that shows that way is because it's in what's called what's in math print. So what that's saying is the left side of the equation is equal to the right side of the equation. I have one unknown value, though x. It's not a variable anymore because it's an unknown. It can only have one value to keep that equation balanced. So I hit enter, and then what the x is there, that's a guess. So if I had to guess for this one, well, if I'm looking at my equation, 6 times 6 times 6, 6 times 6 is 36, and 36 times 6 is 216, I think, and the other side is 12 times pi, which is about 36. So, and then radius squared. I don't know. Let's guess. Let's leave the guess in there. It'll have whatever the value was in the previous equation. That's what it'll have. So I'll guess 10 and see what happens. I think it's going to be quite a bit less than 10. And then what I do is I go down and I highlight x. I hit enter, and it will solve it for me. And it takes a while to think. But it's nice because it sets it. Okay, 2.39. So that, folks, is our height. So what we get here is, I'll write this in green, we have, actually maybe a little darker color, we figured out our radius was 2.394. 2.394. So let's go back over this and see if, in fact, this is correct. So if I've done it correctly, the volume should be the same. So let's do 6 to the exponent of 3, and that gives us, 216 is the volume of the cube, and the volume of the cylinder should be the same. So I use the pi button, and then times by 2.394, and I put that in brackets to the exponent of 2. And then if you notice, once I'm in the exponent and I want to get rid of the exponent, what I need to do is hit the arrow over to get out of that exponent position, and now it comes down to there. So now then I put 12. So the height is 12 in my formula. Hit enter, 216.063, so it is balanced. The left side equals the right side. Okay, so that's an example of using the numeric solver to solve equations in a problem. Okay, so of course you still have to learn how to do inverse operations and do things algebraically, but this gives you another strategy to solve when you're doing problem solving.